Massive layoffs incoming at Ubisoft, it sounds like. This is happening across the board at a lot of these AAA studios. It's kind of wild. And it's also to be expected. They loaded up these companies with diversity hires, with HR managers, with consultants to look at wokeness, and their games are suffering as a result. Gamers are removing themselves from Star Wars Outlaws, from Rainbow Six Siege, from Assassin's Creed Shadows, which has already refunded pre-orders. It's a big cluster over there. They've really screwed it up so much on so many AAA games at this point. We covered yesterday how the vice president of Rainbow Six actually has already just bailed on the company. Everybody knows this is a sinking ship, and it looks like they're going to be bought out and moving private as Ubisoft tries to restructure. When they do so, they're going to have to cut a lot. Now, I've seen this 40% number not just with Ubisoft, but with other companies as well. In the comic realm, which I'm a comic creator, if you guys don't know, IDW Publishing cut 40% of their staff over the last years as well. It seems like that's the number of the overload that's typical for one of these woke companies that's destroying themselves. And of course, after 2 years of that cut for 40%, then they turn around and go, look, we're showing a profit. Well, yeah, you fired everybody. That makes sense. We're not bleeding money anymore. Yeah, okay. And that's exactly probably what's going to happen here. Now, will they learn their lesson? I don't think so, and I'll tell you why in just a moment. My name's John Delarose, everybody. Please hit the like and subscribe button. We are covering everything that's going on with Ubisoft, Assassin's Creed Shadows, the video game industry, and more in pop culture. And I am a science fiction author and a comic creator, as I said. I'm a little scared because this channel's getting way too big, way too fast. And I'm getting noticed, and I'm seeing that I'm getting noticed by folk in tech and folk in the different entertainment industries. And that means that, it's not safe to be here because they gun for us. They really do. And so I've got a newsletter. Right now, I just kind of give my book updates on it, and I don't send much that often. But we might have to transition really fast if something ever happens over here. You know what I'm saying? It just... God forbid that happens. And I would love for you to be here and join my community as well. As a gift to you guys for signing up, I give you a novella in my steampunk universe. I give you a science fiction novel, and I give you my first Flying Sparks graphic novel, like all free. And so you can read those all for free. Join us. And, these are my old works, so I almost want to update them, but, they are my old works, so it's like might as well give those for free. And I appreciate you guys for being there and for joining us on this. This link's in the description below. I've also got a Substack, Subscribestar if you guys want to support, and books on Amazon. Thank you so much again. All right, so let's look at this news right here. One analyst speculates Ubisoft might cut its staff by 40% amid rumors that the company will be bought out and taken private. A rumor from Bloomberg's Vinci Chan, this John Chow and Benoit Berthelot, geez, names, claims that Tennyson Holdings LLC and the Guillemot family, oh my gosh, this is a disaster. I'll learn to pronounce things one day, are considering including potential buyout of the French video game designer after it lost more than half its market value this year. Wow, that's crazy, according to people familiar with the matter. Now, this is coming again from a financial analyst, Bloomberg. This is not like, one of our Gamergate reporters just speculating or anything like that. This is a big deal. The report added the Chinese tech company and the Brothers Ltd. have been speaking with advisors to help explore ways to stabilize Ubisoft and bolster its value. They asked not to be identified in discussing the private matter. Now, this has happened a lot. Of course, Endymion has a Ubisoft employee who's given him a lot of information. We've seen some crazy stuff coming out of there. I've got one who's giving me information on the side as well. And so these people are coming out, and there's a lot of whistleblowers, but they're all scared for their jobs right now. What I'm told, there's a culture of fear inside Ubisoft that you make one misstep in any kind of direction, that you get singled out, you're out. And they're definitely looking for people to fire at this point because they're looking for people to put the blame on for these epic failures in Star Wars Outlaws and Assassin's Creed Shadows. So even if you're a good worker, even if you're just a programmer or whatever, you got to not be out of line on the political level. Otherwise, you're going to be in a lot of trouble. They haven't quite figured out that get woke, go broke is the problem here, that this is exactly why they're failing. That's why gamers are rejecting it. They still are just all in on their political agendas up at the top, and they want to kind of restructure and blame other people rather than face the deal. It's like a 5 stages of grief and blame kind of thing, right? You get anger, sadness, bargaining. What was the other one? The one where you, gosh, I can't think about it. But they're at this one right now where they're just putting their head in the sand. I don't know why I'm blanking on this, but this is what happens. You're going to leave me a nice comment on this, I'm sure. All right. And so one of the possibilities being discussed would involve teaming up to take the company private, according to people. Now, I've heard this not just here. This has been the rumblings for the last several months. People inside Ubisoft have told me this as well. So they've been talking about wanting to take Ubisoft private for a while, way ahead of this. Now, there's a conspiracy theory out there that's been going, even though this is just talking about this is the rumor of doing it, that Ubisoft's been tanking itself intentionally so these brothers could regain full control over the company and then do it cheaply and then pump it back up again. So it's like a kind of pump and dump scheme. I don't know if that's true, but that's a rumor that I've heard as well. So the rumor comes in the wake of the investment of AJ Holdings calling for Ubisoft to be sold and taken private. In an open letter addressed to Ubisoft board, the CEO and the Guillemot family holdings in the middle of September, the company stated, "Take the company private for a fair price. We urge the board to consider taking Ubisoft private." With Tencent as a significant partner and shareholder, Ubisoft as a public company is undergoing ongoing scrutiny to report better and better quarterly results to please investors, which may harm strategy going forward and is harming Ubisoft at this time, when they think they need long-term to get new air into their exceptional franchises. Yeah, I mean, the real problem is not just that. It's the fact that they haven't admitted the real problem yet. This is where they're at still. And these companies are not going to admit the real problems. There's still other problems going on with lots of other video game companies at this juncture, and we're going to have to be calling it out as they go along. If Guillemot and Tencent are not interested in Ubisoft's value, we urge the current management not to block any takeover, as there are several PE groups that would be interested based on our research. In the event of offer from a PE group or strategic investor, we urge the Guillemot family to accept this bid when the bid will come with a fair price. If this offer won't be accepted, we will sue for reimbursement and damages. So there's a lot going on here. So they've also accused the family there of discounting potential value of Ubisoft in order to buy more shares at lower valuations and eventually take full control of the company. So this is what I've heard behind the scenes as well. Now, Ubisoft is under pressure, not just because they need the quarterly gains, and that's kind of what they're talking about right here, but the other pressure they have is these AAA games that cost $300, $400 million to make. They actually take loans against the future earnings of those properties in order to pay for them ahead of time. They don't actually just use company profits or anything. They're actually just get a giant loan, and the loans come due, and so they're forced to release these games at certain times in order to try to pay back some of that goes on. And that's the struggle here, and that's why there's so much bloating and the like. They get these giant loans, they get cash flush really early, and then they hire all these crazy people, they hire all these consultings. They just think they're on top of the world, and then those loans come due, and then there's panic, and that's the debt structure of our world, my friends. I mean, I could rant about how that's just an evil sort of thing that is corrupting all of us, and who runs those banks that are doing the loans? Well, we'll not get into that on YouTube.com, of course. You can get into it if you want in the comments, as I said. So this is it. In our view, recent delays of certain titles are creating uncertainty amongst investors. It's beneficial for Guillemot and Tencent in order to acquire more shares or even at a discounted valuation, as Ubisoft is trading close to €15. Now, this is exactly the scenario with IDW Publishing in comics, as I said. They did this. They devalued their company, delisted off the New York Stock Exchange. This one family ended up buying most of it, naming themselves CEO and the like. And you could see that they own about 33% of the shares of the company now. And because of that, they control the company, and they've got it at an extreme discount. Then they restructure and rebrand the company. And that's what they did. Then they cut things by 40%, just like that. It's almost an exact situation. Now, Ubisoft's a bigger company, and it costs more to do so. So it's a scale situation. But we're seeing this. This seems to be the play. These woke, crazy, sharks out there who have too much money in their family go in there, and they buy these companies, they cause problems intentionally, and then they buy the discounted volume of the company and try to actually make some money off of it. Very, very crazy. The firm followed up with this Reuters report that had gathered support from 10% of French video game publishers and shareholders, which is a pretty big amount. Even though 10% sounds small in shareholder realm, that's a big, big deal. So they are calling for the sale right here. It is looking like it's possibly happening. And this would mean a ton of layoffs probably. Something has to happen if this can't go much on for longer. And Tom Henderson here says from Insider Gaming, I wouldn't be surprised to see a significant reduction of about 30 to 40%, just like IDW. You can just call this. It's like a playbook at this juncture. It's very weird. And this is why it's so important to support independent studios that are not doing this kind of thing, guys. All you have to do on the gamer end is just sit here and watch and eat the popcorn and don't buy these games. And Ubisoft gets itself into even more trouble. It spirals even more. And, of course, then you just support the games that are great out there. There's so many of them, and we're having a lot of fun doing so. Thank you guys so much for watching. Leave a comment down below. What do you think about this? Do you think it's some sort of conspiratorial thing to push the wokeness in order to devalue the company intentionally to buy it out? You know, I've seen crazier things in this world. It's 2024 after all. Let me know in the comments. Hit the like and subscribe button. Join us here. And again, please join up my newsletters in the description below and check out all the other links in the description below if you want to support. Because, yes, we're a little too based. We really are. And I don't want to lose you guys. All right. Thank you guys so much for being there. We'll be back soon.